Good evening. We start tonight with the latest information about the state police helicopter that crashed in the area of Baldy Mountain last night.
2 officers and a hiker were on board. One of the known survivors says he struggled to stay alive as he waited for daylight. News 13's Kim Holland begins our team coverage live from the command post near the Santa Fe ski area. Kim?
Within the last hour, the clouds have finally broken and the sun is out as the break that crews have needed to try to locate that crash site. State police helicopter picked up a lost hiker near Santa Fe Baldy. That's just north of the ski area. Sergeant Andy Tingwall was piloting the chopper. Officer Wesley Cox was also on board. Cox says after they loaded Nagami Yamamoto in the helicopter, he believes the tail rotor hit something while taking off. The chopper came down hard, according to Cox, and rolled down an embankment. Cox says all 3 were thrown from the aircraft. The terrain was rough. The snow then began falling. State police says Yamamoto died on impact. The 2 officers yelled to each other throughout the night, saying nothing more than about their names. Cox says he then crawled into the chopper to spend the night, then walked out at daylight, and he actually was the one that found rescue crews who were looking for him. Cox's statements and what other people saw will help rescue crews pinpoint the wreckage and hope they would find Officer Tingwall alive.
They heard what they describe as the rotor rev to a high pitch. They saw a flash of light and they heard the crash.
Well, my wife and I are here to express our support, to lend every possible resource. I'll sign every single emergency declaration so that we can rescue him.
The aircraft is also sending out emergency signals that is helping crews pinpoint the crash site, but the terrain is rough, and right now there are about 5 to 12 inches of snow fallen on Baldy. If they do find Sergeant Tingwall alive, it would be a great gift. Today is his birthday. Back to you.
Okay, Kim. Sergeant Andy Tingwall has been on the force for 13.5 years, 5 of those years as a pilot for state police. His brother is also a state police officer on the governor's security detail. Officer Cox is a 7-year veteran with state police.
Officer Cox right now is in serious condition at Christus St. Vincent Hospital in Santa Fe, and that's where News 13's Alex Tomlin picks up the story. Alex?
State police have been talking to Cox. Now they're trying to learn more information about where the crash happened and maybe why. Sky Ranger video shows Cox being brought here by a National Guard Black Hawk helicopter. You can see him walk to a stretcher and then he's taken inside. State Police Chief Farron Segota says paramedics on the Black Hawk say Cox has extreme hypothermia. We've also learned he has internal injuries. Cox was working as a spotter last night during the hiker's rescue just before the crash. We did see some state police officers leave the hospital and they gave us a thumbs up. We're hoping that's a good sign of how he's doing now. Back to you.
A couple of things to add to that. Chief Segata will hold a live news briefing at 6 o'clock tonight. We will carry that, and he will have the latest on the search for Officer Tingwall. Also, we've learned that the hiker who they rescued last night had been with her boyfriend camping in the Spirit Lake area. They became separated late yesterday. Now, the boyfriend was missing for most of the day, too, although he has apparently met up with another group of hikers now. We just heard that from state police. And the boyfriend of the woman who was killed in the crash is now reportedly walking out.
The 2 officers were noted for their bravery on the job. The Police and Sheriff's Association awarded Pilot Tingwall the Medal of Valor for rescuing a man from an arroyo last summer. Next Friday, he's scheduled to get the State Police Medal of Valor for the same rescue. Officer Wesley Cox is on the Santa Fe bomb team. He was awarded the Purple Heart in January of 2006 after being hit by a vehicle during a traffic stop on I-25 at La Bajada. Will the weather stay clear to help aid in that search?
Here's Mark Cronchetti with that.
Yeah, largely it will. Much improved weather conditions out there, really over the past couple of hours even. Here's a look at the current conditions right now. One of the closest reporting sites, about 53 degrees. Now, the problem is that you go way up into the Sangres there, and the temperature probably much lower in the crash zone, but still right around the area of around 10,500 feet. We're dealing with temperatures in the 50s. Winds out of the northwest at about 14 miles an hour, partly to mostly sunny sunny skies now. So some good news on that front. See how that ends up shaking out. Statewide, you can see things starting to die down here. We have cloud cover starting to break, obviously. The showers have been pushing out throughout most of the day. This all reached its peak earlier this morning, and then since then we've seen things slowly start to improve across the state, and we're going to stay pretty nice weather-wise over the next few days. We'll talk about that, plus your full forecast coming up.
All right, Mark, we will be on this missing helicopter story until it is resolved. Again, Chief Farron Sagata plans a live news briefing at 6 o'clock. We will carry that. Stay with KRQE News 13 and KRQE.com for continuing updates.